We have Phil and Sarah from Four Swords Theatre Company.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Jeff.
Thanks for having us.
Second time. Nice to have you on the show. So tell us a little bit about Four Swords Theatre, if you will.
Sure. Who wants to go first?
You can.
Thank you. Okay, so our brand of theatre is very much site-specific, meaning that we're not really interested in performing in theatre venues or traditional theatre venues. We like to find unusual spaces and then take the audience on some kind of journey around it. So our very first show was at Polesmore House, and we had maybe 3 or 4 locations around the house, and as the story unfolded, it was Jekyll and Hyde we were doing there, so perfect gothic masterpiece for that crumbling old house. The audience gets taken around as the story unfolds. That necessitates small audiences, so very kind of an intimate experience. We really like the opportunity for actors to get very kind of up close and personal with the audience.
I'm liking it.
Yeah, it's absolutely. And well, go on then, Sarah. What's the rest of the formula?
The rest of the winning formula. We also like to use live music throughout the show to kind of score scenes. It kind of, I think, gives it quite a filmic quality and kind of makes it even more immersive in that sense.
Yeah, but I think the fact that it's performed live is really important, isn't it? It's so it's original music written for us by, we've got a really talented bunch of musicians we've worked with, who some of whom may have been on the show, certainly have been on other shows on Phonic. It's Benjamin Akira Talamy, Mike Gilpin, Dan Cox and Elizabeth Burnett.
We haven't had any of them
Not yet, no,
yet.
but we're always open to suggestions.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
And another element that we use is film projections.
Yes.
So we will make short films to tell parts of the story, and we will project them onto the side of crumbling buildings, walls, ceilings, floors, wherever looks cool. So yeah, there's lots of different media throughout the show to kind of keep the audience entertained.
It's a very innovative approach to theatre, isn't it?
I hope so.
I think
it's accessible and vital and exciting and
I think it sounds very ambitious as well, getting all those things working together.
Yes,
Indeed.
it can be
at the right time.
But surely ambition is the first step towards greatness.
No, I went to a theatre workshop. I don't know if you weren't there, I think, Sarah. There was a thing, it was about immersive theatre at the University Drama Department.
Was that a couple of weeks ago?
I think they're called Coley, the company. And they had a saying, they said, don't look, they say, ask how to make the interesting possible. Don't ask how to make the possible interesting.
Right,
so,
okay.
Or so we had to
make
the intriguing possible or something. So it was, rather than
you're going for what is going to be effective first, and then you're working out how to do it.
That was what they were saying. I thought it was a really, really great sort of mantra, actually. So good thing. It sounds a bit like what you're doing. So come up with a sort of wacky idea, and then try and find out how you're going to do it afterwards.
I think so. We like to try and think big, and then
Yes.
That scale.
we run out of time.
Do you ever use your audience in any way, in terms of where you move around them or involve them? Or
certainly, I think in terms of appealing to the senses, that's something that we're very interested in playing with. So, for example, burning incense or having smells. We started our Macbeth show with handing out the witches handing out some kind of sacred food of the
hallucinogenic ginger root.
Yes. So there's it can be a taste experience. Obviously the music as well. The audience, we don't actually kind of compel them to play any roles within the story. I think our feeling is that maybe that can be a bit off-putting or
it's not about making it interactive or making people feel kind of uncomfortable, but it's just about kind of giving them a sense of being in the story rather than being just a kind of a spectator.
Yeah,
sort of just
more immersive than interactive, I guess.
Yeah. I'm ashamed to say I've never actually seen any of your shows because they always sell out.
Well, so far so good.
Yes, touch wood.
I did want to come and see Macbeth, but by the time I got around to it, they've been sold out, a week or two in advance. So.
Well, we'll sort you out this one.
That's a deal. In exchange for a bit of publicity.
Well, I'm liking the makeup and such like that I've seen on the site for the next one.
Cool,
Yeah,
thanks.
thanks.
Those nails, those long nails, is that you had all that?
Oh no, we
that's
made
not
them, but no, that's the Emily who is playing
Emily
Carding, who is playing Mephistopheles. So she.
You should probably tell us about the new show, so we know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is Faust.
This is Dr. Faustus.
Yep.
Yes, the Christopher Marlowe text. Although we have played fairly fast and loose with kind of swapping bits around and chopping bits out, and it's kind of a bit like a remix.
It's a hybrid now.
It's
Faustus remixed.
Yeah.
Sounds
because
good.
I think what we try really hard to do is make these classic texts as accessible as possible. So when Phil is writing, he's always sort of bearing that in mind to try and make it make sense as much as as possible to kind of appeal to the people that maybe aren't familiar with those texts.
That was one of my questions. So you're the writer, are you, Phil? I wasn't quite clear what your role is in the company.
Yes.
So.
Well, we share most things. I mean, writing, by Sarah's own admission, she can't write. So
well, I can write my name. No, it's not. It's not a.
Sign the checks, do you?
Yeah. But writing is well, Phil's very good at it, so I'm more than happy to let him kind of take on that role, and then he gives it to me, and then I say, I don't like this, that, and the other.
It's more a case of we need a first draft, so I write the first draft, and then we work.
And they'll
together
pick holes in it for you.
And
get the red pen out.
You're the editor.
Yeah. But I've got quite a subversive streak when I'm writing. I like to kind of play with audiences' expectations and maybe undermine them and inject a bit of humour, perhaps, where they might not be expecting it.
And is that your humour or theirs?
Well, it's
Does it
mine
amuse
that
you?
hopefully they buy into, I guess. It certainly amuses me. But
But I think that's important. I mean, that sounds a bit trivial, but actually, you know, I do a bit of stand-up comedy, and one of the things is, if you're not kind of amusing yourself, then the audience aren't going to enjoy it either. So I think it actually extends to any form of performance. You know, if you're having good, you know, if you're enjoying yourself in stage, you're really, you know, into it, then the audience will pick up on that. If you're there and you're, you know, scared and anxious and not having a good time, they'll, you know, they pick up on the vibe. So it is important to amuse yourself, and I spend a lot of time amusing myself, I have to say.
Enough of that. Let's get back to the interview.
So we have in the studio this afternoon our guests Sarah and Phil from Four of Swords Theatre Company, who are talking to us about their new production, amongst other things, of Dr. Faustus, which, when does that go
So
up?
it starts on the 21st of October and runs until the 1st of November, and the performances are taking place in St Nicholas's Priory, which is just off 4th Street. And it's actually one of the oldest buildings in Exeter, and it's beautiful. It's been restored lovingly by the Ram, and to resemble a sort of a wealthy home in the Tudor period. So it's perfect for, obviously, Faustus, because that's what it would have looked like in the time that Marlowe would have been writing.
indeed.
Excellent, sounds good.
Attention to detail here, I'm noticing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's got 2 weeks or thereabout, 3 weeks to opening night.
Yes,
So, and how
2 weeks on Tuesday.
How are rehearsals going?
Yeah, rehearsal started last week, and we're just having a blast at the moment, just playing around with it, and just under the realisation that, crikey, we've only got 2 weeks, and there's a lot to get through and a lot to do. But
Focuses the mind.
It's yes.
And a lot of lines as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Phil is playing the lead role of Dr. Faustus.
Oh right. Oh, I can see. You can see why, can't you?
I've seen the picture of him with that bit of grey hair at the front that looks a little bit cobwebby.
Yeah, cobweb hair, absolutely.
Brilliant. So do you want to tell us a bit more about your take on it? Because you were saying earlier on, your kind of interest is doing slightly innovative takes on classical works.
Yeah,
what's the thinking behind Faustus?
So the story of Dr. Faustus, just in case any of your listeners are racking their brains thinking, I'm sure I've heard of that. It is the archetypal Faustian pact. So the idea of making a deal with the devil, selling your soul to the devil in exchange for limitless power. Faustus in the story is an incredibly successful scholar at the University of Wittenberg. He has excelled in all fields of study, and he's basically bored, and he's sure there must be more to life. There must be some knowledge which can actually grant him power. So he pursues, the dark, mysterious arts of alchemy and demonology, and through this he succeeds in raising a devil and selling his soul to this devil in exchange for 24 years of limitless power. At the end of which, I don't want to spoil the ending, but doesn't turn out well.
Doesn't live happily ever after, needless to say.
Absolutely not.
Only 24 years.
It's an odd number.
It is an odd number. I think it's an arbitrary number. It's 24 years was mentioned in the source that Marlowe was writing from, so that in itself is adapted from a German folk story. I don't know why 24 years, but yeah, there you go.
And I wonder if he sold his soul to the right devil.
Well, exactly. We were also discussing the possibility of whether you could commit soul perjury or soul fraud and sell your soul to different devils with different powers. Sell your soul more than once. Would that be possible?
Possibly, yes. Interesting.
Has been done.
Has it?
Yes. Well, in not with souls, but with other things.
No.
You turn up for your car that you've paid up money for, and somebody sold it to somebody else.
You could auction it on eBay, couldn't you?
These days, but
there's a modern take on Faustus. There we are.
See if you get
you can get in the show before you've got 2 weeks to rewrite. Can you manage that?
Well, I think it might help for funding. Instead of Kickstarter, we could just sell our souls on eBay. I think that's a good idea.
There we go. Yeah.
There's some good ideas.
That's not bad.
Yes.
Absolutely.
How you describe your soul, how people would know that they've actually received it, would be another debatable, wouldn't it?
There's probably some great pun on PayPal that I'm trying to think of, but it's not coming. I'll probably think of it about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
I'll work on that one. Anyway. Going back to previous shows, you were saying you use music quite a lot in your shows, and you brought a few tracks along, haven't you, from little bits of music?
Yes, we have.
So, should we introduce one of those at this point?
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you know what the first one is?
The first one is, they're all tracks from Gawain and the Green Knight, which was the show that we did for the first time at Christmas.
I knew I'd seen him before.
Over the summer. We did it at the cathedral. Did you see it there?
Yes, it was wonderful.
Awesome, great. Glad to hear you enjoyed it. We did it at the cathedral and then a couple of other places. Did it at Beautiful Days as well, which was great. But so this music has been written by the aforementioned team of Gilpin, Talamy, Burnett and Cox, and it's from that show, Gawain and the Green Knight.
Okay, let's have a listen to that then. Oops.
You ready?
Ready.
on 106.8 FM.
So never mind. Okay, thank you. So this is indeed Phonic FM or 106.8 or online www.phonic.fm.
Did I not press the button at the right time?
No, it's fine. It was my instructions. You're a little bit previous there. That's okay. Anyway, this is indeed the Happy Sundays show with Jeff Sleeman, Cathy Towers, and our guests for this afternoon, Sarah and Phil from Four Swords Theatre Company. So that piece of music was from one of your previous shows,
correct?
Gawain and the Green Knight, was it?
Yeah.
Which you performed last year. Mm-hmm. Do you want to just give us a quick précis of that? Maybe?
Yeah, that is again an adaptation of a Middle English manuscript that we don't know who the original author was.
No, we know certain things about him. He was a northerner because it was written in a northern dialect. He was clearly very well educated. I think there's a theory that he was a priest, but we don't know his identity.
And it's an Arthurian tale. It starts off set at Christmas time at Camelot, and Arthur's sitting around with all his knights having Christmas dinner, and they're interrupted quite rudely by the gargantuan Green Knight, who walks in and lays down a fearsome challenge and says, challenges Arthur basically, but to this game of heads. And Gawain steps up very boldly and says that he should take on the challenge because he is the most untested knight there. So he succeeds in chopping the Green Knight's head off. The Green Knight then picks up his head and says, you've got to come and find me now, basically, this time next year, or a year and a day.
A year and a day.
And in the Green Chapel of the North, and then Gawain sets out nearly a year later to try and find him. Yeah, it's a coming-of-age story, really, for Gawain. So he starts off, he's the as Sarah said,
journey, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he has to face up to the challenge, and along the way there are all these people trying to dissuade him from actually fulfilling his half of the bargain, saying, obviously the Green Knight has magical powers, but if you put yourself in that situation, you're going to die. So why don't you run away, or why don't you go and find a girl and be happy? And he's like, well, I see your point, but I'm a Knight of the Round Table, and I made a promise, and unfortunately that's what I believe in. That's the most important thing to me. So.
And you got to perform this in the cathedral, is that right?
We were incredibly pleased and wonderfully, fortunate to perform there. It was amazing. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the Middle English being performed in that venue. Obviously the medieval cathedral. It was great.
It was perfect.
I like the way you moved us around, as well, having been there, and when we went into that. There were bits of things all dangling down over my eyes.
Very descriptive.
Yes, it was an adventure. We were participating in the adventure at that point, entering into another scene. And also, they had cake.
They had cake, always.
Yes, we had cake.
Yes.
It's not part of the play.
Right. Christmas cake in June.
Yeah. Oh, great. Sounds good, very innovative. That's my word for this afternoon. Let's play a bit more. We brought a few more tracks from that, another bit of music from that.
Great.
From the same show, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh. So that was another track from the Gawain and the Green Knight show.
Yes.
Yes.
You're laughing because you just told me to shut up, didn't you?
Yes, because the track was coming to an end, you were rabbiting on. So that was introduced.
Yeah, I know that Dan actually listens to Phonic in his car, so if he is listening, then he will have just heard himself perform.
Ah, there we go.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
And I was just saying off air, it's nice that you're bringing other people into your shows. You've got this sort of pool of musicians and other actors and other people you can sort of draw in. It's nice to sort of be collaborative, isn't it? And
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's where it all comes from.
Kind of comes back to what I was saying at the beginning of the show. There's such a great resource down here. I think there's some really talented people in terms of musicians, performers, all sorts of people who can work with. It's a very nice creative little community.
Absolutely. I mean, both Sarah and I have kind of gone away and worked. It's like Sarah was living in London and stuff. I was been around various places, but we've both come back to Exeter, and I'm really happy working here. It feels like there's a vibe. It feels like there's some really great people to work with.
I think it's improved in recent years. A lot more sort of creative things going on. Yeah. Places like the Bike Shed, I think, have helped to foster the creative community here. And
there's so many interesting little festivals going on as well. Theatre, the film.
Although Animated Exeter's just been cancelled, hasn't it?
Oh, has it?
I think so.
Oh no!
I didn't get the funding, unfortunately. But I think it's really important to try and encourage the talented people to stay down here and to make sure that there's opportunities to work, so that they don't all just think, I've got to go and live in London or Manchester.
Absolutely.
No, I think it's important, and the more people do it, the more it creates the community and creates more work. And it's one of the things I like about doing down here, because I get involved in little projects, and I wouldn't want to be in London actually, because there's too many people chasing not a lot of work, and it's all very impersonal and so forth. Whereas here, I feel we all kind of keep bumping into each other, and people, Sarah and I've met on this film we did a little while ago, and you've got people like Charlie. You've got Matt and Richard in your show that I've worked with, and we've done things with. We all kind of it's like a little family.
And we have worked with Charlie before as well.
Okay, it's another good egg. So it's just this sense of community, and sense of genuine kind of belonging, which I think is really important.
It's nice.
That's
you're living in London anyway.
Oh no! I live down in Exeter now. I haven't lived in London for about
very nice place out in the country. We're doing one of the locations for the film that Luke was doing. Very, very nice place. You'll see the film. I'll tell you about it. But actually, we'll have Luke on probably next month. Luke Jeffrey is a local filmmaker. He's going to come in to the studio and talk about his upcoming film called Seeing Red, which will be at the Phoenix Short Film Festival in December.
Right. I always do that.
You always do that?
Do all the film festivals, yes.
Good. Well, you shall see the film.
Good.
Okay. Bit more music from that show. You seeing as tell us
awesome.
What this third track is and who it's by.
The third track is this is by predominantly by Mike Gilpin, and it is the soundtrack to Parkour Ninja Hunters Tumbling Through the Woods.
Right, okay. I think you've painted the image for us sufficiently well. Let's have a listen to the music. So that's another track from one of the previous Four Swords shows, Gawain and the Green Knight. Interesting. Just sort of coming back to Faustus, because we're coming towards the end of the show before too long. Drag you back into the present. You were saying that apart from the main show, you're also using this to stage some educational projects and work in schools. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, the project of Dr. Faustus at the Priory, we're working with some students from the Central Devon Personalised Learning Service. So basically it's the pupil referral unit, and we're working with 3 of the kids there who are about 14, and they're helping us to make one of the short films that will feature in the show, and they're kind of storyboarding it and acting in it and getting to press buttons on the camera and really getting involved. So it's really nice to see them getting really enthusiastic about it, and they're really excited to actually then come and see the show, and they can't believe that people are actually going to pay to be watching them.
We try to tell them that they're not only going to be on for a couple of minutes, it's mainly going to be us. But in their minds they're coming just to see them.
The stars.
And but we also work with schools as well. So with Macbeth, for instance, that's probably the most popular school one we've done, and we've adapted that to sort of an hour long performance that we can take into schools.
Yeah, an hour seems to be a good length, especially for taking it into schools, because they want something that can slot into their programme of lessons, and an hour seems to be about the right length. Macbeth is good because it's on the GCSE syllabus, and
very shrewd choice of play then.
It was,
exactly.
It was when I did my exams as well.
What?
I said it was when I did my exams. It's been around a while.
At least since you were at school, that was it's about when it was first written, wasn't it? It was a new play then.
Well, I think every text that we have chosen to do so far, we've done it in the mind of we can use an educational angle with it as well, because Gawain and the Green Knight has studied it. Is it university?
Well, it's certainly a university text. Also, some schools look at it in a simplified version for Key Stage 3 as well.
And Jekyll and Hyde is on GCSE curricula, and Faustus is as well.
That's great. So
and they've also been done filmically as well, haven't they? Faustus has, so that story has been used ever since film came out, Selling the Soul to the Devil.
Yes.
I can't remember the names because I'm crap at that. Oh, sorry.
Oh dear, we'll be banned now.
I missed off the P. I stopped
before the 9 watershed. You've done it now, Cathy. That'll be our final one. Before you say this, I'm going to put, as you've brought one more track, this is just a quick track from the last one from Gawain and the Green Knight. So stop Cathy saying any more profanities on air. I'll cover up with a bit of music.
This is a Christmas Carol.
Very unseasonal piece of music there, wasn't it?
I don't know, it's not long now.
Just panicked everyone, sorry, it's not Christmas.
Yeah, it's not really Christmas yet.
Not yet.
But that was from the last piece from the show, from Gawain and the Green Knight.
Which is set at Christmas.
Set at Christmas, yes.
And they gave out cake to the audience.
So I gather, so tell us, Faustus, the new show, which is starting on the 21st of October.
Yep, starts the 21st. There's 2 shows a night, 7 p.m. and 8:45. Tickets are £12, and you can get them from the RAM, either online or by phoning them. I don't have their phone number.
If you go to our website, it's for-of-swords.com. So don't forget the hyphens. But that will give you then all the links that you could possibly want. It takes you right there.
And there's a link on our
page,
our Facebook page.
There is. You're very
awesome. Thank you.
To your Facebook.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Thank you very much.
I want to wish you all very best for the show, and obviously it's nice to have support local actors and local enterprise, I suppose.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting us on. It's
Yeah.
been a pleasure.
Delight. We hope it all goes well. We shall follow your success avidly.